Hi, my name is Chris, and I'm a founder of Enterploy. I've worked with multiple SaaS companies supporting their recruitment and people operations. If you are running a SaaS company and you are starting to think about where to hire, Poland keeps coming up. In this video, I want to break down what actually makes Poland interesting as a hiring market. Engineering costs have become one of the biggest line items for every growth stage SaaS company. And over the last few years, a lot of founders have started looking at Central and Eastern Europe not as a cutting cost move, but as a way to access talent that's hard to find locally. Poland has become one of the more major markets in the region. It's not emerging anymore, it's established. There are tens of thousands of senior engineers working here, and a significant portion of them work as independent contractors for international companies. That's the model we'll be talking about today. Let's start with the talent itself, because cost only makes sense if the quality is there. A few things stand out about Polish developer market. Education. Poland has a very strong technical university system. Schools like Warsaw University of Technology consistently produce well-trained computer scientists and engineering graduates. English proficiency. This tends to be the first concern people raise. It's rarely an issue at the senior level. Poland ranks highly in European English proficiency indexes, and the most experienced developers working with international clients are comfortable with English. Work culture compatibility. This one is a little bit harder to quantify, but worth mentioning. Polish professionals generally operate with a similar work ethic to Western European or North American teams. Direct, accountable, delivery-oriented. Time zone overlap with Western Europe is seamless, and there's a reasonable working overlap with US East Coast hours. You'll find a strong talent across backend, Java, Python, AI, front-end with React and TypeScript, DevOps, and QA. On the creative side, product designers, motion designers, and the web developers. When you look at the fully loaded contractor cost, meaning the rate you would actually pay with no employer-side taxes and benefits on top, here's how Poland compares to US market rates for engineering roles. A senior Java engineer in Poland typically runs around 40% less than the US. A senior front-end engineer, similar picture, roughly 40% less. QA engineers, they tend to show a slightly larger gap, closer to 50% less. Now, if you are building out a typical early-stage dev team, let's say 3 backend engineers, 1 frontend, and 1 QA, and you run the comparison across the full team, the annual difference comes out to around $300,000. That's based on the average market rates for those 6 roles, fully loaded US versus Poland. The same logic applies on the creative side, and the gap is actually wider there. For creative designers and motion designers, you are looking at roughly 60% less compared to US rates. For web developers working in a creative context, closer to 50% less. If you put together a small but capable creative studio, 1 creative designer, 1 motion designer, and 1 web developer, the annual saving versus the US setup is around $160,000. For a lot of companies, that's the difference between having an in-house creative capability at all or outsourcing everything. A few things worth knowing before you go down this path. The contractor model has trade-offs. You get flexibility and cost efficiency. But you need to be deliberate about onboarding, documentation, and keeping remote contractors integrated in your team. Out of sight, out of mind is a real risk. Not all roles translate equally, Senior engineers and experienced designers tend to work very well in this model. Vetting still matters, which means quality varies. Taking shortcuts on a hiring process because you are saving on rate is a false economy. Full overlap with US West Coast is limited. If your team relies heavily on real-time communication across all time zones, factor that in. Summing up, Poland is a major high-quality hiring market. The cost difference is real and it's significant, but like any hiring decision, it works best when you go in with clear expectations and a proper process. If this is something you are actually exploring, I'll link some additional resources in the description. And if you have questions about how this model works in practice, book a free consultation. The link is down below.